Yeah, I work girls' camp maintenance. Sorry, just to set up an original Blue Cross t-shirt. And for this year's staff, look what's returned, the Blue Cross trophy. It's really great to see you all out here. It's a fantastic day. It's something that I know we've all been looking forward to for many years. It's funny, I've been out here for the last couple of weekends poking around, and last Sunday I was fiddling around in front of the lodge, and I just have to relate this thing that happened that I'm sure is no reflection on what goes on here, but it was a very funny story. BBN LaFleche, one of this year's session directors, was out with a 10-year-old boy, and the boy was crying, and he was not really having a good time at camp that day. He said, I came here and I was really prepared to have a good time, and ever since I've been here it's been nothing but a living hell. So I looked over at BBN, but a little bit about me. I first showed up on the island in 1960. My parents dragged me down for a family camp. So I would imagine maybe we still would have been there. So I think that I'm kind of a last link with, a missing link with some of the past. I was here when the old cabins were still on the cabin line as a camper. I was here when the Canadiana was still running around, or Brian Barker was swearing and trying to fix it. I was here when we still had the main dock here, when the rec hall was still up, when we still had Grand Council. In fact, I earned my 2 feathers, guys. That means warrior in Indian lore. I also had to make a tomahawk, and I still have that. I think it's something that was a very special part of camp when I was a camper. I first started to be a camper in '67. And it was discontinued, the whole Indian theme in the 1970s, and it might be time to look at it again, because the memories for me were extreme for the types of tradition that we had with the Indian lore program. Learned to swim at Camp Stevens, still have one of my white cords. Anybody wants to look at it? One of the topics that Hal suggested we talk about is things that changed when we were at camp. And when I was the director, there was quite a few major events. In 1980, my first year of camp director, we had a milestone. That was the first year we switched to co-ed camping. And I think it was, its time had come, and I'm glad it happened, and it's been a success ever since.
Yeah! I missed probably the beginning of grants and actually most of Winda's. The 6-week boys called in on their radio phone, and you might have heard me yelling because I couldn't hear them very well. But they just phoned in to wish everyone happy 100th anniversary. I'm sure for everyone who's been on a 6-week to realize that those radio phones kind of work, kind of brings back some memories of things. But they really wish they could be here, and they say hi to everyone, and they're doing fine.
Yay!
The first thing I thought of when I got this letter from Hal, and was talking a bit about your staff. I can't read from the dark. I guess the first thing I started thinking about exactly what is a staff of the late 80s or 90s really about. And I thought long and hard about them, and I wrote down these words: lack of respect for authority. Unruly, socialize too much, attempt to have too much fun on nights off. The boys got long hair and the girls got short hair. We're still perceived as the heathens of the Manitoba Camping Association. And I guess it's the same as any other era of camp. The staff don't change. The thing about staff is it hasn't changed, and I think I learned this from Grant, and actually Jim Leggett himself. is the ability to inject the fear of God into your staff with just a look. It's an art, and I think there's a few people around. Laura Sims and Mick Love know exactly what I'm talking about. My sister, social Laura, learned very quickly that I could have some fun and scare the living daylights out of her at the same time. I won't get into that story because it was rather rude. But Mick Loud learns very quickly exactly how much fear I can put into someone. I have 2 dogs, and actually every camper who comes to camp knows my dogs, and they probably know my dogs better than they know me, but everyone really knows how much I love my dogs, and my dogs are the world to me. But here I was up at Snap one night, looking around, hey Mick, and all of a sudden I look around, and there's Mick. He's got this cup, and he's putting it over my dog Bruce's nose. Oh, God. I've never seen Mick jump so high in my life.